Good day, my friends. Today is May 7th, 2025, and I'm out here doing yard work, and I am in meditation mode. And I was just thinking, I was analyzing the life of Jesus and how in his final hour he also found out and expressed that God isn't real. And what do I mean by that? God in the traditional sense, in the way religion teaches it from a separation consciousness. That kind of God is not real. And Jesus realized that when he hung on the cross. And he was crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Because, and in part this is taught in Christianity, but somehow we don't connect it. You know how Christianity teaches that Jesus was God? And when he hung on the cross, expecting a God outside of himself to save him, there was no such God, because God in the flesh of Jesus, was experiencing being crucified, being killed on a cross. So there is no God externally of us that can save us. Because God is you and me in the flesh, having a human experience. I got to thinking earlier, about the song by Joan Osborne that goes like, what if God is one of us? Just a slob like one of us, riding on the bus, trying to make his way home. That woman was ahead of our time. She really got it, and she really expressed it in that song. You ought to look up the lyrics of that song. And it so makes sense to me now, since I am in my own awakening state, that is how it truly is. God is one of us, just a slob like one of us, riding on the bus, trying to make his way home through the journey of amnesia. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And also the thought came to me, can you imagine if God were a person in the cosmos, all-knowing, all-powerful, every time he thinks a thought, things come rushing in at 1,000,000 miles per second instantly. He must have a swirling headache from that velocity and speed, if you think about it. And what if God suffered from migraines and wanted to slow down its energy and came up with this brilliant idea of creating density and matter, right? To slow down the God energy to where it can be experienced at a slow pace, where when you think a thought, it doesn't happen for a week, a month, a year, or maybe 10 years, right? Time and space really are beautiful. And we were not able to enjoy this realm because we were laden down with so much trauma in our subconscious mind, in our cellular memory, that this place here was never safe. And the concept of religion, or religion, came up with the concept of God as this genie in the bottle that would serve as a psychological escape from the suffering that we experienced here. So religion created a man through the language that it used, a man in the sky, which we then ended up worshipping. It's a very primitive belief system. It's no different than tribes worshipping the sun in the sky. You know, it's the same concept. It's primitive. When you separate yourself, your being, from that sun or from that God, that's the primitive state of the separated ego mind. So religion invented God. And as I started out saying in the beginning, Jesus at the end of his life discovered such a God does not exist. Such God, that God actually was hanging on the cross as he cried out. And this is not only true for Jesus, this is true for every human being, this is true for everything that is matter, that is physical. The animals, the insects, the plant life, all the different kingdoms are God manifested as matter. The matter, not the pater. I talked about this before. The spirit is father, the earth is mother, matter. So Jesus discovered that. But we bought into this concept that Jesus alone was God because he was able to do miraculous things. We can do miraculous things if we obtain such a dissociated state from our human identification that we can bend matter, we can bend physical laws. And that's why we called him God, because who else can do that but God, right? No, you can do that. If you can dissociate enough from your physical identity that is bound to the laws of physics, you can bend those laws. And anybody can be God in that sense. But then Jesus is often recorded as saying, as refusing to publicize his miracles, refusing to become a king, refusing to be hailed and praised and worshipped. Why don't you do your miracles in public? Because miracles are for the ego, right? And the more you promote miracles, the more you are bolstering your ego identification. You truly only come into awareness, self-awareness, or God-awareness through suffering. Because suffering makes you turn inward and looks through your inner eye. You don't do that when everything is hunky-dory and everything goes your way. You will not live consciously. If everything goes your way, you're living unconsciously. You need to suffer to become conscious. That's the two sides of this coin. But if we can combine them, the left brain and the right brain, if we can combine the coin into one currency, one consciousness, then we can experience this life more fully, with less amnesia, with more feeling. And that's how we know God, because God, really, a good word for God is awareness. Awareness is God. Okay? And this self-awareness, this God-awareness, only comes by slowing us down. When life slows us down through suffering, we have an opportunity to meet God through self-awareness. So I hope this is interesting and it helps somebody in their deconstruction phase. The life of Jesus is very interesting if you can study it from your awakened state, and you will see the parallels. That's why Jesus also said, you must carry your own cross. You must carry your own suffering. You can't be rescued from your trials, because it's in your suffering that you will meet God, or will meet awareness of yourself. And that's why he said that. You need to carry your own cross to come to the end of that illusion of God being someone that saves you, right? You are that God, experiencing yourself in the moment, and you're the one that must save yourself.